Camera right now.
Oh, yippee.
Okay.
Yeah, right now it's fine.
So you made it through a short round.
Very short.
We did 3
yeah.
weeks. I mean, you did it.
Yeah.
Remember, we said it in advance. 3 weeks.
Yeah. I wasn't happy about it.
Tell me why.
It was much more irritating this time.
Like you were irritable?
I was.
I've seen this before.
I was irritated. And I'm like, okay, I shouldn't be this irritated.
Well,
but I so was.
Tell me about your hunger. Well, you had some issues before your period. I mean, you kick butt,
yes.
kick butt. Had some.
And then like it felt like
diet mentality.
Yeah, hormonal like freak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was tough. And then after I kind of got over that, was okay. And then it was like again. Like,
well, you started weighing yourself, and we talked about like you started getting into the whole. I got to lose a certain amount of weight, and
there was like a week and a half where I weighed myself every day. I bet.
Well, and you weren't you like from what I remember about our conversation on the phone was, you were like, oh, I've had 3 or 4 good days, and then you would let yourself have a reward, and then. Or
fuck it.
Yep, and then I don't care.
Sorry.
This is a F1-friendly video.
I seriously would just
like diet mentality, all like warped into manipulating the number, or if the number didn't move, then you feel like, oh crap, well I might as well eat, and then you're pissed because you didn't. Then you go back on, and then you're surprised that you didn't lose weight
right away,
which is. Hello. Once you cheat, it usually takes 4 days just to get back.
Yeah, I mean it was so like it just like my brain just couldn't function on it. Like that's what I felt like.
All right, that's okay.
Yeah,
the
it's okay for you.
Puts you on it puts you on a fine tip, and it forces you to get over your issues. And if you're obsessed with the scale, and Lisa, I want you to think about how long you've been dieting. Oh yeah. How many diets have you been on?
All of them.
How much do you love dieting?
Oh, I just love it. Even this morning, I was like going, oh, look, on the Today Show, some guy came out with a new thing. Drink 2 cups of coffee and take a cold bath, and you'll lose weight. And I was like, why can't I just try that? And I'm like, what? So it's still there. Yeah. All that crap.
Well, it's not a matter of the protocol not working.
No.
Because when you followed it, it worked beautifully.
Right.
I mean, you lost 10 pounds in like a very short period of time.
Yes.
When you followed it, I mean, it works amazing.
Right.
The problem is the mental games that don't work.
Right.
The obsession over scale. I want you to think about anybody who uses the outcome of your weight, that's gravitational pull.
Right.
As what's defining motive or motivation. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't smash the scale.
Oh, yeah, I told you to go out and shoot it and videotape it.
And I didn't smash it, but I did take it out of my bathroom.
Good.
So it's no longer there. So I actually no longer get on it.
Okay, which can also, for some people, they say, oh my God, well now you're just going to let it go all the way. Have you found that because you're not weighing that you're just binging every day?
No, I thought maybe that's what I would do.
Okay.
Like,
if I don't have my eye on it, I'm going to let it slip.
Then I'm just gonna now. Not that I haven't eaten stuff that, it's like I'm like, oh, like one day I swear to God I was like going, okay, I'm not going back on this protocol right away, so why am I eating all this stuff? Because I just was, and it was like a day of that. But I didn't get on the scale the next day. I didn't. And then the next day I just kind of forgot about it. Mm-hmm. It was like, that was yesterday. I'm not going to worry about it. Mm-hmm. And so that getting into that mode, that, okay, I'm not worrying about how much I weigh. I'm just not worrying about it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to look at what I'm, when I'm hungry. Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm looking at. So if I can keep that up here in front of my face.
Everything is so much easier.
Then I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute.
Well, because you're not being restricted and it doesn't take work.
Right.
You know, it's like eat when you're hungry. Only eat enough for hunger to go away, not a bite more.
Right.
What I suggest is on phase 2 or P3, you limit sugar and starch as best as possible. Those are the most hormonally powerful.
Right.
Which is, whether you come off protocol or not, you know, the more fat you have, no matter what, you're going to have kind of a magnified response from those foods. So if you limit those immediately,
right,
things will change for you.
Right.
But if you just focus on fat, protein, natural fruits and vegetables, eat when you're hungry, only eat for enough to go away. If you keep tight to that hunger rhythm, I know your body's going to respond to it. It's just a matter of holding yourself to it.
Right.
It's like saying, you know, we talk about this is, you're never going to do another protocol. You're never going to get it. There is no diet. If you're not, if you can't make the protocol work.
Right.
You really have to hold yourself accountable.
Right.
And that's, to me, that's a beautiful place to be.
Oh,
because
sure.
It's no one else's responsibility.
Sure.
It's not the protocol's responsibility. No. It's yours. So if you're never going to get to do another diet to manipulate your weight again, then what do you do for an excuse to overeat?
Right.
Because most people excuse overeating because, oh, I'll just do another diet.
Right.
Oh, I'll just do another protocol.
I'm gonna do this later anyway.
Yes.
I'm gonna do this later.
I'll fix it later.
Yeah.
And if there's no fix it later.
Yeah. And actually, my life is sort of that way. I was like going, wow, my life's kind of like, oh, I'll just do that later. Let's do that later.
And does that really work or pan out for you?
Oh my God, no. Not ever.
Yeah. So I think for what we're doing, this is not good timing. When it is good timing, you'll know.
Yeah.
And so we just need to wait again, hold tight to second phase, because whatever you have lost, you're maintaining it.
Right.
So it'd be great if we could just hold this tight.
Right.
But I'm more concerned right now that you're continuing to listen to your body and not listening to this mental chaos.
Oh my gosh.
And manipulating the scale.
Yeah. I am telling you, honest to God, I did not even realize how much mental gymnastics are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like
when you're on a diet
exactly,
and you're using the scale,
tug, pull, this,
compensation,
that,
restriction,
and that's like, okay, well, this is
which is
like,
the opposite of what I teach.
I know,
right?
and then I feel like crazy person. Like I'm like, okay, I'm crazy. Oh, if I'm crazy, I might as well eat because that just makes me feel better.
And does it really?
No. See, and then it's like, and then that's just a vicious circle. And I was like, oh dear God.
We need to get the emotional part down first. End of story.
How
can you think intellectually correct when emotionally you're using it's manipulative. It's manipulative. That's what that is.
Right.
And you'll manipulate at one point for this desire, and then boom, it swings to a different desire, and now you're manipulating and countering what you were just doing.
Oh, I totally was like, why don't I just drink? Because that's just better. I should just drink.
I don't know about that one, but
I thought, well, that's just stupid. I mean, like, see, that's the craziness.
You're talking about transferring addiction,
exactly,
because you're trying to now go, well, this addiction's better than this addiction. When ultimately, you just need to let your ego bow out.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's the moment you say, you know what, I'm not hungry, I'm not eating, I don't care what the scale says. I don't care.
Right.
I literally don't care. It's the moment you accept where you're at today. Accept where you're at. If you never lose another pound, ever again, you stay at this weight right here.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not there.
Well,
I'm so not there.
But you are, because you're willing to sabotage. There's a moment in your head where you're like, you just don't give a crap. You don't really, you honestly don't. But then there's moments when you do. That's when your frontal lobe is active and you're rational. Then you're like, I got it. I should have you look through this history. You want to feel good. You want your blood pressure to go down. But the moment you need that food for an emotional reason, you don't give a crap about your blood pressure, you don't give a crap about diabetes, and you don't care about your life.
Right.
You care about that fulfillment emotionally.
That's absolutely correct.
I know.
Absolutely.
So we both could sit here and talk about the importance of following this protocol and why you need it from a hormonal point of view, and but none of it really matters, because what's really running the show is the side of your brain that needs it because of an emotional reason. Right. That's the one that's dictating. That's the slowest part, the slowest wheel, and you can only go as fast as the slowest wheel.
Okay. All right. See, now that makes more sense too, because I kept thinking, but see, logically, I know that, right? Mm-hmm. I know that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, I got it.
Intellectually, you get it. But there's the moment that emotionally, you take all that intellect and you go, I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I need this right now.
Yeah. Stop even
So, Lisa, is this is it a physical problem or an emotional problem?
Emotional. It's an emotional problem.
I know that. I'm just wanting you to hear it.
No, I know it's an emotional problem.
Because when you look at the moment you're choosing to eat, or when you chose to eat off protocol, knowing there's a ramification, even though you ignore the fact that there's a ramification,
right? Totally ignored it.
You are probably not feeling physical deprivation 1 second, not an iota. There was. There's hunger, but it's manageable. You could easily just go to the protocol choice if you're hungry.
Correct.
But the moment you chose to eat off protocol, it had nothing to do with hunger.
Correct.
Or feeling deprived.
Correct.
So it wasn't fulfilling a physical need at all.
Right. Right. It wasn't filling a physical need at all.
In fact, it was sabotaging your physical. It was actually causing damage. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't making it better, it was damaging.
Right.
And then, so you have to look at this from, if you fix the part of the way you think that is feeling the entitlement to that food.
Right.
What would happen to the physical outcome of a protocol? What would the outcome be?
Well, it would work. I mean,
then your health and you would be healthy. It would be,
right.
Then the important
that
part.
That healing part would work. And
totally. The body can fix itself.
Right.
I tell everybody who comes in, the protocol, this is easy if you were in a coma.
Right. Well, yeah.
Because your body's doing nothing wrong.
Right.
It's actually doing everything right.
Yeah.
You just keep on... You shouldn't be running the show.
Right.
It's like you're the CEO and you are...
Why am I running the show then?
Well, you have to be willing to... The moment of humility. Remember, we've talked about it. It's like a moment of humility where you have to go, I am not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Emotionally, and to use the body and food as a crutch, the only outcome is the fat. Mm-hmm. And then you should be grateful, because that fat kept you alive. It kept your body in homeostasis. So the outcome of it, you have to accept and acknowledge as a part of the body actually doing a good job. Well, to compensate.
And it has. I mean, it's done its job the way it's supposed to do its job, given what I fed it.
Yep, and not only what you feed it, but the timing and the reasons why you feed it, which conflict with your biology.
Okay. Well, and I get that.
If you're not hungry and you're eating, you're conflicting with biology.
Right.
It doesn't match. There's no signal. You're not getting the signal.
Right.
You probably don't even have a craving. It's just emotional.
Well, some of it I thought this is just a habit I have. It's not even emotional. I was going, why do I think I need to have this right now?
Yeah.
Especially popcorn. This popcorn that I think I have to pop at 9:00 at night on a Friday night when I'm going to watch a movie.
Yeah.
I think I have to do that.
To it. Well, and you're getting a Pavlov's dog response, mouth waters. Ooh, I want some popcorn. It's entertainment.
And I thought, well, that's just habit. And then, and then I get to the point where I'm like, well, screw that. I'm supposed to have this. I'm
entitled to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause this and then... So, the popcorn and entitlement part, it's, I always use, if food wasn't as accessible, if there was an outcome that was hurtful to other people, would you eat without hunger? If it took away from someone else's mouth?
Oh, right, no.
I know, it's that simple.
Yeah.
problem is this behavior and this psychological game that we're playing with food is because there are no ramifications, and it's easy to abuse our own body.
Exactly.
You're not hurting anybody else.
No, it's very easy.
I know.
It's very easy. And, like, emotionally, like, I totally get, I mean, there's, like, thoughts in my head, like, just, you know, like, F this. And I'm shoving food in my face. And I'm like,
why?
Why would I would never do that to somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no. Or you wouldn't be going to that outlet if food wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So this is why I say at some point you have to get so done.
Yeah. It gets so
that
done.
If you are not hungry, it's not an option. It's like ending an abusive relationship, but you're the abuser.
Right.
And you've entitled yourself to abusing this physical body.
Yeah.
And that's what narcissists do, and people who are abusers do. They entitle themselves to what they're doing, and they create all the reasons, and they have to justify and rationalize.
Yep.
Otherwise, they'd feel bad about it.
Yep.
And so then they actually don't have remorse.
Yeah.
And so when you look at, is there remorse for the for your flesh, for your body? Have you gotten to a place of sorrow or sadness for the?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
almost every time.
Okay, after the fact.
After the fact.
That's like the guy coming back saying, "I'm so sorry, beat the shit out of you. I'll never do it again."
Right. It's always after the fact where I'm like,
and your body's going to enable this whole process because it's not going to keel over and die.
Right.
Its job is to keep you alive
right.
until after a while, then it's done.
Right.
However, when does the abuser take responsibility? Because your body isn't going to leave you. That would be death. It's made to stay intact with you here.
Right. Right.
So.
Well, and I was definitely much more angry. Like, I was like, oh, wow. I'm like, I was pissed off. About 2 days into the protocol, I was like, oh, I'm just mad. And I thought, okay, well, that's bizarre.
Well, it could have been hormonal. It could have been.
Really?
Yeah, the gorging and the.
Oh, man. I was just like.
Like a bitch, like PMS.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
I seriously thought I was
Not everybody, but
I
I've
thought I
seen
was going to kill my husband. Literally kill him.
And then you started buried.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think this conversation's really important because it's like the more you go through this, the more you cycle through this, the more you're like, why? Like, what are you doing? Because it's only hurting yourself. It's not really benefiting you. And when you aren't emotional, it doesn't make sense. But then there's that moment you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm entitled. And there's this reason, and this reason, and this reason, and this reason. So screw it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you're like, oh.
That's totally where I go.
So at some point it's like quitting smoking. Mm-hmm. You know what?
I'm telling you, I
cycle
swear
through
to God,
this. There's a moment you said, I'm never going to smoke another cigarette, even if the world is ending. I'm not going to do it.
I know, but I swear that was easier than this.
Absolutely, because cigarettes don't attach to the hypothalamus and not your mouth. At least they don't taste good. I mean, could you imagine if cigarettes tasted like freaking hot fudge sundae? Now, that would be hard.
Yeah.
On top of the narcotic response from the brain that you're getting too. So now you're dealing with the actual addictive area of the brain, but you also have palate and cravings, and you also have the attachment to the most ancient survival mechanism attached to the hypothalamus, which a cigarette does not attach to. So, yes, it's harder.
Okay.
And it's not like you just quit. But you know what we're quitting? Everything outside of hunger. That's why the hunger scale is so important.
Everything outside of hunger. It's like, yeah, well, you know what?
We live in
I like food.
So do I. You know, I think, too, you have to look at the big picture, and it's really important you accept the outcome.
Yeah, you think, right?
Well, I do believe that it's better to accept the outcome rather than hate the outcome and entitle the abuse.
Right.
And hate the outcome and entitle the abuse, then that's just freaking nightmare.
Right.
But when you finally get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm not willing to give it up, I might as well accept the outcome.
Yes.
There is actually a little bit more harmonial. There's some harmony and peace with the body then.
Well, this week has even though it's only been 2 days or 3 days, it's like this week's actually been better. Like I was like going, okay, like after a couple of weeks of not getting on the scale and a couple of weeks of not, really, I'm not like deprived.
I wonder what sucked you back in onto that scale.
Oh my God, it was there, and I just one day I got on. And I was like, and then I got on, and then I'd get on in the morning, then I'd get on at night, and then I'd get on the next morning. And I'm like,
why don't you tell the group that's listening to this how well that worked for you?
oh, that was really fantastic. Does the sarcasm come through on that?
It was like a nightmare
horrible.
Diet.
Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah, because does your weight do this on the protocol?
Yeah.
Does this.
Yes. And it was just like, oh my God. Every time I stepped on there, I had an expectation.
Because
it should be.
You're micromanaging the body, right?
Yes.
Like you actually are capable of micromanaging what the body's doing, right?
Oh yeah, like I'm capable. Like only in my brain, only in my head.
But who taught you that? Because you're taught to think that you can micromanage your body by using the scale, right?
Right. The diet industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The food and diet industry. Micromanage your body because your body doesn't know shit. So you should micromanage it because you know everything.
Right.
And the scale is the end-all, be-all.
Yeah. I know pretty much nothing. That's
well,
what I know.
Neither do I. And that's the thing. Do I know your body's innate intelligence? Do I really understand the level of equilibrium that goes on and what it takes to just keep you alive? Do I really understand that perfectly? No, but I do know this. Just use your hunger and it's pretty reliable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why? So when you look at using the scale, it's like taking a 5-year-old and having a 5-year-old micromanage a neural scientist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like this freaking scale. Your weight against gravity is a great way to micromanage.
Yeah.
Now, do you see?
I was happy I took it out of my bathroom. I was very happy. I was like going, wow, I actually feel better about it.
Because you're not micromanaging. It's so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, huh.
Lisa, what you've got to get to the point is that you suck at micromanaging the body. Can you say it? I suck at micromanaging the body.
I suck at micromanaging my body.
And as a manager, you need to step down. Or look at the body and say, you know what? I trust you. Mm-hmm. I know you're going to do a good job, and I'm not going to be criticizing the outcome of what you're doing. Because whatever you're doing, it's amazing.
That is so interesting.
It's like the artwork of a child. It's like when your child has a beautiful piece of artwork and you say, oh my God, I love what you're doing. This is beautiful. Can I put it up on the fridge? And it's all messed up. You just assume that, you need to separate.
You'd think that would be easy, but that's not.
No, it's not for someone who's insecure from an emotional perspective.
Exactly.
If you're insecure emotionally, you need to have your whipping boy.
Yes.
You need to have someone that you can beat the hell out of.
Right.
Just like every narcissist and beater.
Yeah.
They always have to have someone they need to kick the shit out of.
Right. And I might as well do it to me.
Well, because you're not going to do it to someone else.
No.
This is a sign of actually that you're a nice person. You're not abusing other people.
No, I would never abuse somebody else.
However,
I would, however, abuse my own self.
And then complain about it.
And be mad about it.
Yeah, and then go be pissed off.
And then go, screw that. I'm just going to go
and then
some more.
Sabotage. And then get pissed off about the body again. It's insanity.
It is. That is craziness.
I know.
That is crazy.
I know.
Crazy. Yeah, upload those, because that would be kind of fun.
Oh, well, I have a ton of them.
Okay.
Like hundreds of pictures of my kids making faces. And videos of them making fart noises and... But anyways, what I was just saying is when you say, well, I have this expectation, and then I said, well, do you really have the intelligence to know what to expect?
Yeah. No.
And when you look at the human body,
I can't foresee that.
No, and if you look at the human body and its capacity to fuel itself, do you really understand it as an expert to then say, here's my expectation?
No.
So are you really good at managing the body?
Yeah, that's
let
really
alone
good.
micromanaging with a tool that is so crazy. Like, really, the scale, gravitational pull against gravity is going to, that's your expectation for a hormonal balancing act on the HCG protocol? That's what I say. What are you?
That's funny, actually. That's actually funny when you like funny ridiculous.
I know. Well,
Right.
I know that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
everybody. Here we go again. So, your failure that you felt was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we kind of submitted to the fact that, we got to go off because the more you cheat, the more damage this is going to cause, potential hair loss, potential problems with the thyroid, messing up with your metabolism, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
We both accepted that.
Yep.
I encouraged you to go off. No judgment, no,
Right.
no nothing.
Right.
But you came off of that feeling
I was just
sad.
Yes, I was just sad. Just
However,
sad that day.
Yeah, but I want you to explain, your mentality going into it, because I think you said something that's really telling of why this blew up in your face.
Right, because even though, like, I still had it that I was going to do it my way. My way. It's like, yep, I know everything that's been told to me, everything you've said, the stuff I've read, all of it. Still going to do it my way.
How many times have you done that?
Every freaking time I do that. Every time. I don't care what diet it is. I'm doing it my way. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, because for you to be able to do it your way, you really have to have some idea of what's going on.
Right. And I don't have a clue. I think it's all about the number on the scale. That is literally my perspective on it, which is very small perspective.
So if you
I have no other.
If you could start over again, if you could do it again, what would you do differently?
What
would you tell yourself mentally? I mean, what would you have to have in your head?
I would have to be.
What's the word?
Yeah, it's
called
like
humble.
Yeah, it's like it's like I'd have to be done with
that.
Me. I'd have to be done. It's hard to explain.
Well,
that.
is it you or is it a persona?
Yeah, I have to be done.
It's a false front.
I have to be done with my ego. Like, my ego has to be finished. Like, you're done and
You have to be submissive.
Yeah.
Because the ego part, when you say, I'm going to do it my way, that is all false front.
Yeah.
It's all like, well, to keep my level of how I feel.
Right.
I'm going to do it my way.
I am. How,
But is that even the truth, really?
No.
I know. So, and I am so glad you get that, because you do understand this process.
Absolutely.
You understand the spirituality of it and the whole, that it really does take, you have to be like, take me, I'll do whatever you say.
Whatever
I'm
you
so
say,
done.
I'll do it.
I'm desperate.
Yeah. I'm not
to where
quite
you
there.
Are when you're there.
Yeah, I'm not quite there right now, and I get that.
Good. But you know the feeling.
Yeah.
That tells me that you know what you need to do.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to figure out what's left.
Do you know what this takes, right? Because you have the awareness of that consciousness. You are aware of what it's going to take to get there. The fact that you can get a feeling of what it's going to take tells me you already know what to do. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of sitting down, and it can happen this quick.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through a process of...
Right.
It's like just pulling the armor off. It's really a matter of pull it off, and let's see what's underneath.
Yeah.
And that's the desperation that the 12-step program talks about. That you have to be so submissive to the fact that you don't know what you're doing and you need help. And when you're there, then it's over.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to just literally fail. Until you're like,
that is so
done.
That's not how I like living my life.
Well, that's what you've been doing.
I know, but I don't like it.
Well, do you have to compare the not liking that to the how badly do you not like? I mean, you don't like this, or you don't like the feeling of submission. Which
Yeah,
one do you,
right.
that's where we're
Yeah,
getting to, which
yeah.
is, are you willing to be humble and submit to the fact that you can no longer control this anymore. Your
Right.
micromanagement is taking your body to the grave.
Yeah.
Slow drip suicide.
And it is like, because this has been so, like, all my life, you know,
Yes.
I didn't smoke all my life. I smoked a lot of my life, but not all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been all my life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, since I was 5 years old, all my life.
And it gave you ego with the grandmother, and
Yes.
it gave you one up on this other siblings, and it was part of the
Yes,
hoarding.
everything about it has to do with who I am.
That you created
that
an
I
identity
right,
around.
Right.
Yep.
Everything about it. And protects me from things and does certain, you know, like
We've kind of peeled that onion.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, this last part, like this, I feel like this is the last part for me.
Mm-hmm. And it is going to be the biggest one.
Right. And I'm like going, and I keep thinking, well, what is it? What is it? And I'm like, well, it's probably right in front of my face and I just can't see it yet.
Or you're like, I know what it is.
Well, that could be. I
don't
might
wanna
know
be
what it is, and I'm like, I don't want to
uncomfortable.
do that. Well,
No.
I don't like the whole fact of literally, like when you talk about the submission part of it and being humble and being vulnerable. Like, and I don't like that. Like, I don't like that a lot.
I know. Neither do I.
And
Neither does anybody.
And I thought, oh, yeah, that. So that part, I was like, oh.
How does it feel to you? Because this is coming from. How does it feel to you when you feel that way? Like you're going to die?
To be vulnerable? Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
gonna
physical, actual,
Yeah.
like you're getting threatened.
Yes.
So even though you know it's not a physical threat to your
Right.
life, it manifests as if it's physically threatening. Oh, honey, that is brain wiring. You know that, right?
No, I don't know that. I think that's real.
It is real. It's happening inside the dopamine center of the brain. No, that's real. Trust me, it's real, because I've been through it.
Yeah.
And it does manifest physically. The whole brain wiring, you start a fight or flight reaction to your perception.
Right.
So anytime you feel vulnerable, your brain and your body it doesn't know that it's not a physical threat.
Right.
It's a threat to the ego. Manifests the same way. So if you want, I know it's awesome. This is awesome, because what does this give you? A solution.
Yeah. Well, it's like, see, I connect it to laughter yoga.
Yes.
Because your brain doesn't know it's not real.
Nope.
Like you can just start laughing and it doesn't know it's not real. You still get the same response.
Well, what do you think happens with fear, anger, threat to emotion? The body cannot tell the difference if you're going to get chased by a tiger or if you are truly getting the emotional threat of your identity. It is as huge as a crisis as true threat of death. That's why I say, does it feel like you're going to die?
Yeah.
Because it feels like you're going to die. Everybody looks at me and goes, really? And I'm like, oh, you are not an addict, because it feels like you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like an explosion is going to happen inside your soul.
Yeah.
Like
like
honestly,
if I can't have what I perceive is my right to have,
it's the thing that's going to help you.
I will die.
Correct. Now, what do you think happens to the brain when you allow it to feel that way without reaction? It's like an atomic explosion in the brain that allows it to rewire. I've had the rewiring. It's called enlightenment.
Oh. I've had that before.
It's called change of state of consciousness, or an awakening.
Okay.
It's like an atomic bomb to the ego to let yourself actually go through it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it
no, I
is
don't like that.
Amazing. Well, let me tell you what's on the other
No,
side.
I don't like that.
Can I tell you what's on the other side?
Sure.
It's called enlightenment.
I'm not sure I believe you.
No, I wouldn't either, because I didn't.
I'm pretty sure I'm
That's
gonna die.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I
well,
just-
that makes it actually
How would I
makes
know this,
perfect
by the way?
sense. Yeah. Well, because you've been through it. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm telling you,
And-
the
and I
atomic
do,
bomb
yeah.
starts over your brain. It literally starts over.
Yeah.
Rewires. It has to. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But you have
I
to
do
be willing
get
to not
that.
react.
Yeah.
It's almost, the visual I give is like you have to take all the armor off and know you're going to die and actually take the armor off to say, if you're going to kill me now.
Yeah, just
and
go
then
ahead.
submit to it. The brain goes into this, it is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
See? I know.
Yeah.
You know that's the only way out.
Yeah.
Because you know intellectually
yeah.
this is not true. I'm not being threatened. I'm actually
Right.
killing myself. I'm the biggest threat. But
Right.
yet, I'm running from threat that only exists in my head.
Right.
But it's real.
Right.
Because guess what? It is real.
Yeah.
It's not a figment of your imagination. Your heart rate goes up. Your temperature goes up. You get all this fight or flight.
I've had this before. Like, I've actually had that. I had a physical reaction to literally, I was doing a course, and we had to stand and be with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stand. We were being with people who were standing right here.
Put you in that.
I literally was bent over in pain.
Yeah. Panic attack.
And
because that's what that is.
And that is actually what the course leader said. She just goes, Lisa, you just got to let it go. And I was like...
You have to let go
and
of
it
the
was
ego.
like, and it was just like a light bulb. And I was like, okay. And I'm standing there, like I was crying and snot's running. I mean, I looked horrible.
I know.
And then, but I beed with this person. I was just being with them.
Feeling vulnerable.
Yep, and they were being with me. All of everything that was there, and that's what that's like. And then from then on, I literally could like stand up on stage and speak.
Okay, I'm just asking you to do it one more time.
Yeah. You know what? I can't tell you how much I did like that.
All of a sudden, we just went, light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. I'm writing another book, and that's what's in the book. This is all in my new book that I'm writing.
Yeah, okay, I get it. I do. I get it.
So we're dealing with a state of consciousness
Yes.
and a physical reaction to it.
Yes.
A state of consciousness, physical reaction. What I'm saying is to change your state of consciousness and this whole like figure eight that's going between that is really not working well.
Right.
You're going to have to let your brain literally go through an atomic bomb.
Right.
So that it forces it has to rewire and calibrate. For example, your dopamine levels fall. Okay? And if you use something outside of your body to create an increase in dopamine, it's no different than injecting steroids and what happens to a man's testicles. Oh. They shrivel up and go away because they're not needed. So the dopamine center of the brain stops stimulating its own dopamine because it has to have an outside stimulus. So we're getting rid of the stimulus. You get a drop in dopamine, and what do you think happens to the rest of the body? It becomes massive. Fight, flight. You're going to die. Everybody's... it really is pretty catastrophic. Yeah. But if you don't react to it, what does it force the brain to do? Because you don't actually die.
Right. It
actually
just rewires it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's creating its own dopamine.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden those feelings,
wait a minute.
you don't have
You're
the same...
okay.
Correct.
You're all right.
And it happens within a matter of like days. People are like, how long did it take? I'm like, dude, literally it was milliseconds. I can't even tell you how quickly my brain...
Oh, yeah.
I came up and was like... levitating for years.
That is totally what happened with that thing at my class. I was like, it took me about a half an hour just to get over the.
Well, the next time you do it, there's a moment.
Yeah, but there was a moment.
But you're more submissive, so you just eventually it goes away, and all of a sudden.
That is very interesting.
So when you have a moment, know that you're truly getting a brain reaction. That you're not faking it. However, that reaction was caused from the view that you have, which is changing.
Right.
And eventually, if you cannot react the same way, your brain, it will start creating its own dopamine. It's highly elastic. The brain is more elastic than muscle. It's extremely elastic. Neurally, it is the most amazing, pliable thing ever, and you can rewire it to where you're creating your own dopamine and you don't need other things, and your perception's about to change, and your brain intelligence is about to skyrocket.
Okay. Yeah.
It's worth the risk.
Yeah. Sure. Sure it is.
All right, we're going to end this. This is a long session.